Can you remember when the war ended?
You're telling me. I remember when the war ended. The war ended on the 15th of August.
Yeah.
It was Our Lady's feast day. And I'd had a bit of a cold.
Yeah.
And of course, being Our Lady's feast day, I was in Brisbane, and I went up to Mass, and coming home I bought a couple of lemons, and I asked the nurse would she make some lemons and a couple of asparagus I was going to have for the morning. But at that time, when the war ended, nothing was important to what we were taking. We knew that. We knew that it was going to be, it was the end of things. And
because the Americans were starting to...
Americans were, and Australians and English too. Planning the Americans. It was the Aussies and the Poms that were up there fighting. Well and truly. But however, so then bells started to ring, church bells, the boats on the river in Brisbane were blowing their horns and knew that war was ended. And it was just like a great jubilation.
Are you in Queen's Park when the war ended?
No, Brisbane.
Ah.
Kalinga, a place called Kalinga. And of course I wasn't feeling terribly well because everybody just went mad.
Yeah.
And I had this cold.
Yeah.
And someone came and said, well, you can't have a cold. And I said, come on, we're going into the street. So then there was a jeep there and a couple of the men were going in to propose to deliver some of the messages. So I remember being on this jeep and going through the streets, waving my little flag in this jeep. And then people were dancing in the street and great dances going on here. And then the next day we decided we'd go out and we went to a party, a Yanks party.
Yeah.
The Yanks were held with a lot of suspicion those days.
Why is that?
Well, they were out for a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well and truly. So.
Yeah.
But a couple of the girls had Yankee boyfriends.
Yeah.
And they had invited a couple of us to come with them.
Yeah.
And they got these men were, superior kind of people. And there was about 4 of us went out on to a party that day. And we went to this army, Yankee army place. Well, my God. We just had our meals from the canteen sort of business, and I'll never forget the women that were at the party too. I thought, oh, jeepers. And after that, we went to somebody's house, and I forget who it was, and we partied on. And I used to say to Dad, he was very much against drink. I used to say,
your dad?
Oh yeah. For women.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, he'd like his glass of beer himself. He enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
But I used to say, I'm getting drunk when the war ends. And of course, that night, God knows what I drank, and I thought, well, I couldn't get drunk. And I remember coming home at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I suppose. These Yanks were in the car coming home. I thought, oh my God, if this car crashes and I'm in with these Yanks full of grog. Well, I wasn't. So I got home and had a shower and thought, if that's bringing beer, what's the point? But it was a tremendous sense of relief then.
Yeah. Well, there would have been a lot of tragedy in people's lives at that time,
Oh, yes. While I was in Brisbane, that was in August, it didn't come down until September. No, August. I didn't leave Brisbane until beginning December. And you would see, I remember this convoy of prisoners of war driving along in the cars along the streets, and they were as yellow as the sunflowers over there, and they had this dazed look. There wasn't any sort of expression on their faces. These are men who were really in the prisoner of war camp, yellow, skinny.
What, they were back from like Changi?
They were brought back and they were on the train, and of course everyone was cheering them, but it didn't seem to mean a thing to them.
Yeah.
I was terribly sad, but it was terribly. See, five O'Sullivans, including myself, went away to the war. We all came back.
Yeah.
Like Auntie Joan had a brother who
Yeah.
didn't come back, and there were girls there that were losing their boyfriends there. their brothers and things like that. You know, that was terribly, terribly sad. Seems so
With that sort of sadness, when war ended, were those people able to?
Oh yes, they could rejoice it was all over.
Yeah, even though there'd be personal sadness involved.
Oh yes, yeah. Because like everyone was looking forward to people coming back from the war, because as I say again, because we were in Manchester, like you used to write to all these people, all the lads that you'd know, and you know, you're dying to see them again.